but the public health official was not about to let me in. She actually pushed me as I was going in the door and then put one hand on each side of the door and said, "You're not coming through." So I could not get in. But what I did was I ducked and slid under her arm into the vaccine room where some teachers were already being vaccinated. I handed out about 3 or 4 flyers, and the science teacher comes up to me, and I said, "Just let me hand out flyers. You can get your vaccine. I just want to hand out flyers, and then I'll leave." He grabs me, both hands by the shirt, and says, "Get out." And right now I had a student with a camera just for protection in case I would get assaulted. And he puts his hands out and says, "I'm not assaulting you," and proceeds to ram me with his chest to make it look like he's not assaulting me. And he rams me out the door, and he notices that there's a student out there that has a camera. He doesn't know if the camera's filming or not filming, but this obviously upsets him because he just broke the law. He just put his hands on a minor. He goes to grab the camera, and the student does a handoff to me. I start walking down the hallway with the camera, and it takes him a while, but he notices, runs up to me, and what happened next was something that I didn't expect to happen. I thought he would ask me for the camera, but before asking me, he grabs me by my shoulders and says, "Give me the camera." Now, the policy is, if you refuse to give up an electronic device, you receive 2 detentions. Now, if the school was just and followed their policies, this would be definitely worth continuing my operation of...
But this guy is Judge Dredd, so he's going to physically punish you.
Yeah, so I said, "You know you're not getting the camera. Give me the 2 detentions." He goes, "It doesn't work that way for me." He then grabs me from behind as if he's bear hugging me, but aggressively, and begins to jerk me around trying to get the camera, and which leads to me being flung sideways into a locker. I then got free and began to remove the memory card because I didn't want to be assaulted anymore in the hallway, so I figured I'd give him the camera and keep the memory card for any footage. And what he did now then was grab my wrist with the memory card on it, grab my wrist hard, and he said, "Give me the hard drive. You're not taking the hard drive."
So he wanted the evidence of what he's done. I have a special guest with us in the next hour, but we're going to come back in 1 minute while we're getting that guest ready and have you finish, Robert Wanek. We've got your video up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. You have school witnesses, though, of what they did. Finish the story and what you're going to do to stand up against these tyrants, because if you let them beat you up, next they'll just intensify the abuse. Finishing up with Robert Wanek. Robert, clearly Sunday or Monday at the Sunday Show, 4 to 6 p.m. I'm going to want you back on because I've been working with you for 2-3 years. You've won some awards from us with your videos and your activism. You've always proven to be very accurate in what you say has happened. So I believe what you're telling me. So he ends up taking it away from you. What happens next? Finish up what happened, because you're trying to warn people about what's really in the vaccine.
So what happened next was he told me to wait in the hallway for the principal, so I did. And there was about 20 to 30 students now gathered, waiting in the hallway, just yelling, some of them swearing at the teacher for putting his hands on me. And when the principal came down, he asked another teacher who was there. The teacher said, "No, he didn't assault him. As a matter of fact, he didn't put his hands on the student." This caused just an outrage.
So a total culture of deception, just like cops lie for each other, the teachers do this.
And the students just started yelling, "You're a liar. I saw you assault Robert."
You need to get affidavits signed, take them to court.
I've already got some affidavits signed from over 15 witnesses. And
good. Now we've got them on lying. We'll get that other teacher fired for lying. We don't need liars like that.
And the other thing is, now we've been trying to... I got called in the office at 3:10 and told that I was receiving a 2-day out-of-school suspension for insubordination and disruption.
All because you politely tried to hand out medical information to students that it's not a forced inoculation.
Yes, and they instigated violence against me. They caused the disruption, and I'm getting charged with disruption and getting suspended outside of school. A 3-day suspension is what is merited by...
Well, Robert, let's go back. Robert, let's go back briefly to 3 years ago. We ought to write an article about this. In Maryland, and I had the state attorney on, And he admitted, yeah, there's no law, you got to take it. But they told 2,000 parents and kids this. They lined up with SWAT teams and police dogs and wouldn't let the activists tell them it wasn't the law. And then on CNN, mainly black people, crying, saying, I don't want to take it. I get sick when I take it, but it's the law. You're not even allowed to tell them it's not the law. Go ahead.
Absolutely right. When it's not even mandatory, when it's voluntary, you're not even allowed to give them risks peacefully. And I'm being harassed and threatened more, saying if I release any footage, I'll receive more suspension, and they'll possibly recommend expulsion.
So, I mean, to be clear, you have witnesses on video. That's up on YouTube. But they're saying if you release any more footage, they're saying outside of school, you're not allowed to stand up to them.
No, any footage from inside the school. Like, if you watch the video, I have a few clips that are from inside the school that I have written consent to release. Those are allegedly going to merit me with more.
Well, they're just trying to cover up what happened, and they better watch it because this is starting to turn into racketeering. So where are you going from here, Robert? I mean, I think the way to do it is now get with 100 of the young men and women, and all of you hand out flyers per class. They won't be able to stop that. What you did was bold because it made them show that they're the tyrants. They went after you. Now it's the talk of the school. Now everyone will want the forbidden literature. Now you have the school in your hand as you rebel against the system. Now you are literally launching the Sons of Liberty program.
What I'm doing now is pressing charges against the teacher who assaulted me because the school has not taken legal action and will not release any security footage. We have no clue if they even still have the footage on camera.
You need to put a press release out. See, notice they're lying. You have affidavits, and notice their cameras malfunction. We'll talk to you Sunday or Monday with a more detailed report on this, Robert. But this is big. But I suggest maybe back off for a while just so you can get back to school and have everyone hand out flyers. And everyone across the nation, you should be giving flyers to people in school instead of just worshiping big government and taking Ritalin and Prozac. Robert Wanek, we salute you.